Okay, so in this video I'm going to have a look at solving algebraic equations. So I'm just going to take some fairly basic ones first. I'm not going to do anything too complicated initially anyway. I'm just going to look at something like, say, 3x is equal to, let's say, 12. Now, we have a 3 and it's multiplied by the x. When you have a letter stuck to a number or a letter stuck to a letter, it just means the two of them are multiplied. So this is 3x. Is 3x is 3 multiplied by x is equal to 12. This is an equation. It's an equation because there's an equal sign here. It's algebraic because we have an unknown, we have a variable here, x. So this is an algebraic equation. So what we want to do is solve this. Solving it just means find out what x is. X is a variable, we don't know what it is. Solving it means find out what x is. So what we want to do here is try and get rid of this 3 and get the x on its own. So we need to look at what the 3 is doing to the x. The 3 is multiplied by the x. So what we do to get rid of the 3 is we do the opposite to multiplying. The opposite to multiplying is dividing. This line here means dividing. So we're dividing 3x by 3. That will get rid of it. Now because it's an equation, because 3x is exactly the same as 12, to keep the equal sign we have to do the same to the right hand side as well. The 3x is divided by 3 is equal to 12 divided by 3. So let's do this then. We've got on the left hand side 3x divided by 3. Well, 3 divided by 3 will just give us 1 x. 12 divided by 3 will give us 4. So in other words, x is just equal to 4. Now let's just check that. Let's take our original equation here. 3x is equal to 12. We now know that x is equal to 4, so let's see. We'll put the 4 in there instead of x and see, do we get 12? Well, 3 times 4 is 12. Is it equal to 12? Yes, it is. So x is equal to 4, so it does work. Okay, so let's try another one. Let's take minus 6p is equal to 30. Now again, we have a minus 6. It's stuck to this p here, and it's equal to 30. Minus 6 is stuck to the p, so therefore it's multiplied by p. So what we need to do is do the opposite to multiplying. So we take the minus 6p and we divide by the minus 6. To get rid of the minus 6, we divide by minus 6. So we must do the same to the other side as well. So we must divide by minus 6. What you do to one side of an equation, you have to do to the other side of the equation to keep the equal sign. So let's have a look. The minus 6 divided by minus 6 will give us 1. The 30 divided by minus 6 plus divided by minus 6 is minus. 30 divided by 6 is 5. So in other words, what we end up with is p is equal to minus 5. Let's just check that. We have minus 6p is equal to 30. So we now know that the p is minus 5. So let's see, does that work? Well, minus times minus is plus. 5 times 6 is 30. Is 30 equal to 30? Yes, it is. So p is equal to minus 5. Right, so let's have a look at another example. We'll just add in an extra number here. Let's take 3x plus 12 is equal to 21. So now, not only do we have the 3x, we have this plus 12. We have this 12 added on to the 3x. So let's see what we need to do here. What you need to do is get rid of the 12 and get rid of the 3. And you work your way in towards the x, if you like. So we're going to start with the plus 12. I'm going to get rid of that plus 12 first of all. So in order to get rid of the plus 12, you do the opposite to adding. The opposite of adding is subtracting. So really what I'm going to do is write down to 3x plus 12. And what I'm going to do now is to get rid of that plus 12, I'm going to put in a minus 12. Plus 12 minus 12 will give me 0. Go up 12, go down 12, I just end up at 0. So because I put in a minus 12 on the left hand side, I have to put in a minus 12 on the right hand side as well. To keep this equal sign, because this side is equal to this side, if I put in a minus, if I put in something extra on this side, I have to put in something extra on this side as well. I have to do the same to both sides. So let's see what happens. We end up on this side with 3x. The plus 12 minus 12 will just give us 0. So really I end up with a 0 here. 21 minus 12, that will give me 9, I think, isn't it? Yeah, 9. So really what I ended up with here is 3x is equal to 9. 0 just disappears. This is similar to a previous question that I did. We've got a 3 stuck to the x here, so let's get rid of that 3 by dividing by 3. We also must divide by the 3 on this side. So let's do that. This 3 here will cancel with this 3, or that 3 will divide into that 3 once, so we just end up with x. 9 divided by 3 is 3. So let's see, does that work? We'll just start with what we started with here. We had a 3x, we added 12, and we got 21. Let's see, we now know that x is 3, so let's see, does it work? 3 times 3 plus the 12 equals 21. 3 3s are 9 plus 12, 21. 9 plus 12 is 21, is equal to 21, that's correct, so x is equal to 3. Okay, so let's have a look at another one. A little bit more detailed again. Let's have a look. We'll start with, let's say, minus 3q is equal to 7 plus 4q. Now, in this particular case, we want to try and get q on its own. Now, in this particular case, we have a q on this side of the equation, and we have a q on this side of the equation. Normally what you would do is get all the q's together, get all the variables together on one side of the equation, and leave the numbers on the other side of the equation. There's no q here, so I'm going to leave that alone. And I'm going to take this q here, this 4q, and I'm going to bring it over to this side, or I'm going to get rid of it from this side if you like. So what do? I'm going to get rid of this plus 4q on this side of the equation. So how do I do that? Well, to get rid of a plus 4q, I just write in here a minus 4q. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this minus 3q on this side. I've got a 7 plus 4q on this side. This is our equation here. Now I want to get rid of this plus 4q. So because it's a plus 4q, it's added to this 7, I'm going to put in a minus 4q. So plus 4q minus 4q will just give me 0. So it'll disappear from this side. But because I put in a minus 4q on this side of the equation, I have to put in a minus 4q on this side as well to keep this equal sign. Because the left and right hand side are exactly the same, to keep them exactly the same, if I put in a minus 4q here, I have to put in a minus 4q on this side as well. So let's see what this gives us then. Now, we've got a minus 3q and we've got a minus 4q. So we've got minus 3 of these q's, and we've got another minus 4 q's. So we're going to go down 3 q's and then down another 4. So that will give us, at this stage, minus 7q. On the right hand side, what happens? Well, we have the 7 anyway. We have a plus 4q minus 4q. We go up 4 and down 4, we end up at 0. So these two just disappear. We get 0 here, which I'll just leave out. Now look what we've got. We've got a minus 7 stuck to this q here, so it's multiplied. So what I'm going to do is the opposite. To multiply, I'm going to divide by minus 7. I'm going to divide by minus 7. Because I've divided by minus 7 on this side, I have to divide by minus 7 on this side as well. So let's do that. So what do we end up with? Minus divided by minus is plus. 7 divided by 7 is 1. Q. Plus divided by minus is minus. 7 divided by 7 is 1. So I just end up with Q is equal to minus 1. Let's check that. See what happens. We started with minus 3Q is equal to 7 plus 4Q. Let's see, does it work? We now know that Q is minus 1. So we have minus 3, and we know Q is minus 1 now, is equal to 7 plus 4 times minus 1. So let's do that. Minus times minus is plus. 3 times 1, 3. have 7 here, plus times minus minus, 4 times 1, 4. So we have a 3 here. We have 7 minus 4 here, which is also 3. So 3 is equal to 3, so that works. So Q is equal to minus 1. Okay, so we've done a number of examples here, fairly simple examples of solving or finding what the variable is, solving algebraic equations.